conversating again. So introduce yourself. I've met Nancy. I know her a little bit. Tell me, who are you?
I'm Teri.
And who's Teri?
I'm a assistant physical therapist and retired now.
Okay.
And my daughter is.
Okay. So, your mom was saying that you had some kind of experience.
So about 1995, we were coming out of Christown Mall out of Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay.
And we were coming out of the mall at the street and taking a right. And as we took a right, we like blacked out. And about
Driving?
Yeah, we were driving.
Okay.
And about 30 miles down the road, we look at each other. The car's about 4 feet off the ground.
Holy crap.
And we couldn't speak to each other, but we could see each other. And as the car went down, then we're coming to the light because it tees off at a light. It's like they put us to sleep or something because we're blacked out. We don't have any memory whatsoever in that 30-mile trip from that right turn. And like I said, we were 4 feet off the ground, the car and us, and we weren't able to speak. And we just looked at each other, and that's all we could do, just like we're looking now, but we couldn't speak, And as the car went down to the, and hit the ground softly, it was a soft
Wasn't thump.
No, it wasn't a thump or anything.
Okay.
Then I was able to brake in time because there was a stoplight there, so that was an interesting factor.
Yeah, so there was mountains in front of us if we hadn't stopped.
Yeah, that was fun because it teased right there. So, but and I didn't know where we was at that point, and so I got in the left-hand turn lane to take a left, and it took about a minute or two before we were able to verbally speak on that, and then we continued, to go home from that point and discussed how they could have let us down at least a little bit before the light side of that brake so hard. So
Was there a time gap of some sort? You said, and about how long was it?
yeah, it was about a 45-minute time gap that we should have got home and we didn't get home.
Okay.
So we definitely lost about 45 minutes during that process there.
All right. Miss Nancy, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Well, and as we were pulling out of Christown to get on the road, I had that same sensation of like going under anesthesia. It was like a very odd feeling, but that's the closest I could describe it. I don't know if you had that same feeling. Yeah. It's just like,
You just go to sleep,
yeah.
but you don't realize it because you're out fast. And
So, it's not it's like going under anesthesia.
And I don't even remember. I remember because normally when we come out of Christown Mall, we would take a left to go to the freeway I-17 in Phoenix that would take us home north. And so for it to take us right was totally out of our way and a whole nother direction than we would have even went.
What I find really interesting is that this occurred in a busy city, at least when you got the first initial, you describe it, a blackout or a sedation or what have you. Let's go for sedation.
Yeah.
Blackout, where you're dry out.
Blackout, yeah,
Yeah.
it's more sedation film. Yeah.
And there was that was in the city. And you said it was about 30 miles?
Yeah, definitely 30 miles.
And was that as congested of an arena?
It's still congested, but it wasn't like a rush hour time. It was around 6 p.m. at night
Okay.
when we were coming out of there. But like I said, in the total opposite direction than we would have went.
Right. Did anybody else that you noticed around you? Never anything strange?
We were out. We couldn't even talk. I didn't look at other cars, but you would think someone would have honked the car.
Oh yeah, no one did any response to it or anything. I mean, there was not a lot of traffic at that point in time, and everyone, was just fine and was flowing.
Right. So I asked your mom earlier, I said, did you notice any kind of change, positive or negative, in health when that happened, before and after.
I told him about my lupus because that happened after Maria and I were on my trip.
You know, at that time I was pretty healthy in life, but you know, who knows? I didn't have no negative effects at all. And I felt really good after, you know, we got our bearings back. Figured
was
out
good
where
sleep.
we yeah, or when we were awoken and
Yeah.
then see, you know, they allowed us to see the car and us 4 feet off the ground. That was
Yeah.
sort of like shocking and
Yeah.
like, wow.
Thank God they set you down softly.
Yes.
Did you thump, or was it a rolling glide?
It was a rolling glide.
Some people who experiences have later noticed on in like X-rays or some kind of radiology. Or have you ever been? Have either one of you ever been checked for what we now know as implants?
I have not.
I would think as many x-rays and the CAT scans and MRIs I've been through,
Yeah,
someone would have noticed something because I've had broken bones
sure.
and a light stroke
But
and was in ICU. They were doing MRIs, they were doing CAT scans almost daily, X-rays, and they would have. I would hope they would have told me something.
no
I would have hoped.
Yeah. Well, has there been a kind of a change in your life, your perspective, your outlook? What's happened? You know, if anything, it's a leading question, but have you noticed any change in your perspective, your spirituality, your since these things have happened? However, you want to define any of those terms.
I would say I've, you know, always had a good outlook, and my thought process was more towards maybe they helped so he wasn't in an accident.
Okay.
So, you know, that was my thought process that we were redirected to keep us from further damage or injury.
Sure.
And, you know, it wasn't scary. It was just different experience. And
That's okay.
so that's how I felt in a positive thing, knowing something else is out there watching over us. So it's sort of like the guardian angel, but I know, as I call them, the Sky Brothers. You know, that's fine.
That's a Native American term, as I understand, Sky Brothers.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And have you had any experiences with the Native Americans or at all?
Yeah, I've had some
And
experiences.
so that's kind of like dovetailed in a little.
Yeah, that was later in life after
Yeah,
this
okay.
point.